Okay, we will be getting started here soon. Just getting a few things set. For those of you who are attending, I want to welcome you to L7 Solutions Friday briefing, August 8th. We're going to have a little bit of a conversation today. It'll be more of a one-sided conversation unless some of you want to hop in on the chat and ask a few questions. But I think it's something that needs to be discussed. And with that, we're going to go ahead and roll into it. All right, I want to thank everyone for stopping by the Friday briefing. We're going to try and make this quick today. I know last week's was a little long, so we're going to try and actually make this one a little quicker this week. But it is a great topic. It's 15 reasons small businesses hesitate to choose MSPs. And I really wanted to um, just kind of go through some things and discuss. Um, the hesitations that small businesses have when doing this. And I realize that today is a tough time. Like the economy's not the greatest in the world, and we're seeing so much strife just all over the board when it comes down to businesses and how businesses receive parts and and all these different things that are obstacles right now for businesses. But we are having to get creative and figure out ways to make it through the storm, so to speak. But businesses are, as my title says, hesitating to choose MSPs to go with. And we're going to take a look today as to why they might hesitate in choosing MSPs. And we're going through the top 15 reasons as to why they might hesitate. And we realize that, a lot of that could be, just changing the way that their business operates kind of scares them. Uh, Obviously, uh, I mean, when I speak to people out in sales, they say, oh, price is not an issue. Price is not an issue. Listen, we know that price is an issue. Okay. So when we can be upfront right away and say, hey, this is where I need to be from an from an IT financial standpoint, um, that actually helps us on the sales side and lets us know, okay, is this something that we can work with? Because sometimes there are ways that we can help and maybe get it to where it needs to be for you. We being the type of MSP that we are at L7 Solutions, we're not going to let go on our security stack because that is what protects us, what protects you as a client, um, and and keeps that kind of fortress nice and solid on our end. So we do want to make sure that we keep that in play, but there are ways that we can help you maybe get with a strong MSP like L7 Solutions to further further to excel your business to get your business to that next level. So we're gonna go through a few things and try and understand some of the barriers that are keeping you from partnering with us as an MSP or other MSPs. This really isn't specifically about L7 Solutions, it's about MSPs in general. But obviously, us being an MSP and putting this out, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we at L7 Solutions can do and do to help you. Okay, moving on to our next slide. First thing, cost concerns. Um, uh, there's obviously going to always be some sort of concern of the price, and small businesses tend to view MSPs um, as for some reason this additional expense versus an investment that is actually going to improve them overall. And we do realize that there are going to be budget constraints in small businesses, um, and sometimes things like bringing in an MSP aren't going to seem to be uh, a necessity at the time. Uh, but it's important to build that solid foundation, that core foundation to to keep your business growing and growing the right way. Because if you start to leave holes at the bottom in that foundation, the foundation eventually is going to crumble. So, um, the other thing with small businesses when it comes to the financial aspect of it is that value uncertainty. It's it's that type of thing that you buy something, you're afraid that you're going to get buyer's remorse. And it's like you see this really sounds really interesting. It looks really cool. It's got all these lights, it's got all these different things. And you're afraid that you're going to buy this thing and it's going to be a lemon. And you really have to look at getting with an MSP. Now, again, all MSPs are not created equal. And I know that's difficult when you're going into it blind and you really don't know. But all MSPs are not created equal. And I've spoken about this in previous briefings, and I'm not going to go through that again here, but you do have to do a little bit of homework and figure out what your MSP or what your prospective MSP that you're looking at partnering with, what they offer. Um, we've recently spoken to some pers- prospective customers, and one of the things that they started looking for MSP for new MSP, but they said they do like the fact that their current MSP is only 10 minutes away, and if they call them, then they are in their office within 10 minutes. And that does sound good. I mean, on the surface, that sounds good. But in the age that we're in today, with cloud services and so much of what we do uh, can be remote work, I would ask why is it your MSP is having to spend so much time in your office? Because we look at it in a sense like this. If we have to set foot in your office, well, all eyes turn to the IT person who is now in the office. And in a sense, it slows productivity because the IT person isn't going to be there unless there's something big that's happening or something that needs to be built out or established or something of the sort. In most cases, we should not need to be in your office that much, if at all. Most things can be done remotely. So maybe it's that comfort thing of having, maybe it's the comfort that a small business wants to have of having that person there in the office. But the whole idea of getting with a true MSP is it makes you more efficient. The cost of the MSP is going to be minimal compared to everything that it gives you back. Okay, so we're talking the security, all of the protection that happens when you're working with an MSP, the compliance, the governance of software that you have, all of these different things, remote management of printers, of workstations, having a 24/7 security operations center, all of those things are crucial to having a small business, a medium-sized business, and definitely an enterprise business today. And so one of the things at L7 is we don't feel like just because you're a small business, you shouldn't have the benefits and the privileges that a medium-sized business or an enterprise business uh, can have. We know that you can't go at those prices and those levels. You can't get certain types of firewalls and so on. But you can have the layered security that helps protect you. So when you think about the cost, you have to think about the benefits that you are getting for that cost as well. And so it's important to sit and talk with whomever you start to look at as an MSP to partner with as an MSP. What are the benefits? What is this cost getting me? And then you write that list down. And when you go to that next MSP, you ask them the same thing. What is it getting me? And you write that down. And when it's all said and done, those lists should make a very simple solution to you, should basically give you a pretty simple solution to which MSP you should be going with. Now, there's also obviously the lack of understanding, which I touched on a little bit on the previous slide. Um, Without understanding the full scope of MSP offerings from proactive maintenance and security monitoring, which I mentioned before, to strategic planning and business continuity, owners cannot properly evaluate potential benefits for their operations. You've got to know, you've got to actually take it seriously when it comes down to choosing an MSP. So uh, and this is no cut on you as a business owner because you're in a particular type of business and you know your business. We would never step in and try and teach you about your business, but business owners often lack technical expertise to evaluate an MSP offering effectively. And so the difficulty distinguishing between essential services and unnecessary add-ons. So it becomes an unclear service scope is what we have here. And so the idea is that when you are looking at an MSP, do the list that I mentioned on the previous slide. Use that list. Write the things down. If you don't know what it is that salesperson or the technical person is telling you that the MSP offers, ask them. They should be able to tell you. Ask them what this thing is. What is a CSRA? Oh, I'm getting a CSRA every year. What? Don't just smell and nod. Don't just smell and nod. Ask them what a CSRA is. And when they tell you, you will probably be blown away, especially if that's something that's included in your package. When they say, oh, you get an EDR, okay, I know it sounds great and it sounds technical. Ask them what it is if you don't know. If they say, oh, you get an RMM, ask them, what is that? What does it allow you to do? You have to know the questions to ask. And if you're working with the right MSP, they're more than willing to tell you what those items are without being too technical. There's also the fear of losing control, which I can understand. Business owners frequently worry about relinquishing control over their IT systems and processes to an external provider. Um, and this is just because they want to maintain the oversight of all aspects of their business, which is understandable. It's your baby, and it's something that you have growing. But again, it becomes that process. Make that list when they explain what all of those things are, and they explain them in a way that you're comfortable with that. You've now you've now um, you've now gained a partner, and so a partner you can let run part of your business for you. That's the whole thing. The partner runs part of your business, and L7 or any MSP as a partner to you would run the IT portion of your business. I once There was once a photographer out of Baltimore, Maryland, who actually said um, he was once told that one of the smartest business decisions you can make is when you're starting your business, you tend to do a little bit of everything yourself. But the smartest business decision you can make once you start making money is to offload those things that you can't stand doing to someone who does it well. And so when it comes down to IT, the reality is most business owners they're not getting into the business that they do because they're good at IT. They're getting into the business that they particularly do because they're good at that thing, whether it's being an accountant, whether it's being an attorney, whether it's being in construction, whatever it may be. They're really good at that. L7 Solutions, we're really good at IT management, at cybersecurity, at AI. We help you with all of those things. And again, there are other MSPs out there, but you have to do your due diligence. So don't hesitate on choosing an MSP. Look for an MSP and again, work if need be, work with them, bug them until you can't bug them anymore, and tell them how bad you want to work with an MSP. Because one thing that we love as an MSP is people who understand, or businesses who understand the value of cybersecurity, the value of managed cloud services, the value of efficiency in your operations, because those are all things that we're trying to bring to you and and take your business to that next level. Now, there's also this perceived complexity. The idea of integrating an MSP into an existing operation often appears complicated and overwhelming to small businesses and to the owners. Now, realistically, it can be complicated for the business or the owner because it's not what they do. It is what we do, however. So it's not that complicated for us. We come in, we learn about your business, we learn about how you operate, and then we develop a plan from there to actually integrate our services into your business. And preferably doing that without interrupting the flow of your business as that transition takes place. So, speaking of transition, there's an initial assessment. Businesses worry about the time and effort required for MSPs to evaluate current systems. We have tools that help us evaluate that, and it moves pretty quick. Um, it doesn't move so quick that we're missing things, but those tools help us catch things that might otherwise be missed by someone who's manually looking through and going, oh, what do you guys do for this? What do you do this? Or how do you do this? And so on. Those tools monitor for a while to allow us to get a full view of what and how your network works. Transition period, concerns about business disruption during the handover of IT responsibilities. Again, that is something that we consider and that we speak to you and work closely with you on before fully onboarding. And then there's a possible learning curve. In most cases, there's not much of a learning curve. It becomes a situation that you're accessing data very similarly, if not the same as you were before. You're still running the applications that you run. It's just that you now have this protective shield that that protects you from a lot of the dangers that are out there uh, in the digital world. And there are many, many dangers. Right now, there is an uptick. There is a crazy uptick on ransomware attacks. And every business needs to take that seriously. And I cannot stress to you enough to be very, very, very cautious about emails that you receive, links that are in emails, even if it looks like someone that you know. Look at the subjects, look at the addresses that they're sent from closely. Look at hover over the link before clicking a link just to make sure that it's not going to uh, you think it's going to Microsoft.com, yet it's going to MICR0SOFT.com, things like that, because they slip little things like that in just because people are used to looking at something quickly and just making their move. Oh yeah, all this looks normal, and they miss the one little thing. So sometimes it's better to just slow down, step back, ask yourself, why am I getting this? Was I expecting this? Answer those answer those questions first before clicking on it. If it seems suspicious, it probably is not good. So there's always that option to also, in some cases, pick up the phone and call the person who sent it to you. Hey, did you send me this? Just got this link in it that's supposed to be taking me somewhere, and you know, you just need to be cautious because a ransomware attack, once you're hit, it can destroy a business. Typically within 6 months, a lot of small businesses are out of business after something like a ransomware attack. And they may ransom, let's say you're a 3 or 4 person business, 5 person business, and the ransomware hits all of your files, encrypts all of your files, and they're asking for $175,000. Would it hurt your business today to just lose $175,000 if you're a 5 person business? Is that something that would hurt the business? Well, when you compare that to what it costs per month for an MSP to have a very strong layered defense for you, we're 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 talking we're talking peanuts compared to that $175,000 ransom that they're asking for. So it's this is like buying insurance. And I know we all hate to buy insurance, but this is truly like buying insurance. Listen, there you get way more with an MSP than you do with your insurance provider for your car. That's for sure. There's proactive, there's conversations, account reviews, guidance in certain areas. So you're paying for a consultant, you're paying for protection, you're paying for the security, compliance, everything that comes with an MSP. And when you look at, especially for a small business, the price that's being asked in a lot of cases is really not that much for all of what you're getting because you're truly getting a partner. You're getting an exec that you're not having to pay $175,000 a year. You're getting an enterprise level exec that is technically knowledgeable in all the areas that you need and some that you don't need, and they can help lead you and to a higher level of success with your business. So that leads me into the skepticism about the ROI. Okay. Small businesses frequently doubt whether the return on investment from hiring an MSP will justify the cost involved. Think about the things that I've just mentioned. Think about the things that I've just mentioned. Wouldn't that justify the cost of hiring an MSP? So without clear metrics to evaluate IT performance improvements, the value proposition remains abstract. But sometimes it's not solely just the metrics because sometimes it's seeing exactly what you're getting from it. You can tell that there's a different vibe when you hire an MSP who is acting as your partner and helping to guide you. That's something tangible. That's something that you can feel. That's like the old, the who's the GOAT in basketball and so on. And you've got the LeBron camp, you've got the Michael Jordan camp, and you've got a lot of the old school people who look at it and go, listen, you can just look at what Jordan did, and there you go. Sometimes the numbers may say one thing, LeBron has the most points and so on, and those numbers may say one thing, but people are like, look at the eye test. It's the eye test. And some of the things with MSPs are truly that. They're the eye test. What are you getting from them on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? Is it worth it? And with L7, I can guarantee you that it's worth it because I've been around a lot of MSPs. They don't do what we do. They don't do what we do, and they don't do it the way we do, and they don't take the pride the way that we do. And that's something important to look at when you're choosing an MSP. I'm not saying that there are not other MSPs that are that way. There are. Okay. I don't want to throw any MSP under the bus, but there are those out there who are giving you the minimum but charging you the most. Now, we're not the cheapest in our area, but we're also not the most expensive. But you are getting everything and then some when you look at L7 Solutions. So, previous negative experiences that businesses may have had, so that have led to they were unresolved issues, poor communication, unexpected costs. Well, here's the thing. With us, with L7, we have a ticketing system that is going to basically yell at us for unresolved issues. We have we have an owner who is going to make sure that issues are resolved. And that leadership starts from the top and it trickles down. And so when you have an MSP that has that mentality that we want to get issues resolved, we want to communicate and find out how things are going with with our customers. So those account reviews that we do on a monthly or quarterly, depending on what you choose. Some people don't want to hear from us every month, and that's fine. We prefer to do it every month because things are constantly changing in technology. Sometimes account reviews, yes, they give you what we are actually wanting to discuss pertaining to your account, but they also give you things that have to do with things that are changing in technology. So it's important that we have that good communication And they're afraid of unexpected costs, which is understandable. Unexpected costs, nobody wants unexpected costs when it comes to your IT company. So, um, what we do, if you speak to L7, we'll tell you about how we how we fight unexpected costs. And it's a very unique thing in this business. And so we will love to talk to you about that. Now, there's concerns about data security. Um, we are always concerned about data security, hence the reason that the security aspect is crucial for for our design. It is the foundation of our design. A lot of businesses frequently worry about the security of their sensitive data when shared with an external provider. This concern is particularly acute for companies handling customer information, financial records, or proprietary business data. So if you take a look at the chart here, shows a visible access control, data encryption issues, network vulnerabilities, regulatory compliance, third-party provider risk. We handle all of that. We handle all of that. The prospect of granting an MSP staff access to critical system raises questions about confidentiality protocols, employee vetting processes, and the provider's own security infrastructure. Small businesses may also worry about data sovereignty and compliance issues when their information is managed by external parties. And this is the reason that it's important to create that list that I mentioned in the beginning and really understand what your MSP is offering you, because that list and those offerings are the things that cover everything that you're seeing on the chart here. We make sure that we are taking care of all areas of your data and all areas of your security, giving you that peace of mind that you can leave the office and know that, okay, we made it through another day, we had no security risk, and you can go home at night and go to sleep and know that there is still a team of security specialists watching over your network and ready to respond to alerts. So then there's the customization issues. One size fits all concerns. Now, that is kind of an interesting thing. We believe that in the area of security, everyone should have top level security versus versus trying to pluck different things out of the security, especially to make it cheaper. We don't want to pull things out of your security stack to make it cheaper for you, because all we do is weaken your security. And that's not what we're about. We're not about weakening your security. You will hear a lot of MSPs say, okay, fine, we can pull this out, we can pull this out. Everything becomes an a la carte kind of thing. It's not the way we work. Unfortunately, that's not the way we work. And fortunately, that's not the way we work. So if you're looking for a la carte type of things like that, where where a company pulls things out of their security stack to meet the price level, that's not L7 Solutions. And that's not a lot of really reputable MSPs, because that security stack is what makes them. And and having a strong, well-tested, layered security stack is what protects you now and down the road. So um, we also have here that uh, they worry about MSP's lack of specialized knowledge for their particular business sector. Well, at L7, we have worked tremendously with attorneys, CPA firms, medical offices, construction companies. So we have a vast knowledge a vast sector of knowledge when it comes to working with different verticals. And that's the great thing about having an MSP because it, you're an MSP is typically not going to be one person or two people. Um, it's going to be a team of people who all have and different skills and varying sets of knowledge that they've gained throughout the years. So it's important to get with an MSP that has a vast array of knowledge and skill sets. And then there are the communication barriers. So response time worries, technical language barriers, transparency issues. Okay, all of those things we handle very well. We we try and put things as simply as possible. I don't think I've used a lot of technical terms outside of the security stack, but I think from my explanation, you understand what a security stack is. Um, but a at L7 Solutions, when it comes to response time and worries, we've got an SLA, and we hold true to that SLA. Most times, I'd say 95% of the times, we are well uh, outdoing our SLA. Uh, if we are early with getting something resolved, then we're on time. If we're on time, we're late. That's basically the way it works. But we meet the SLA always. The technical language barriers, again, we try and keep it as simple as possible. We're not going to try and, throw so much technical jargon at you that, it confuses you and gets you all flustered and like, what does this mean? And what do you mean about this and that? No. Again, if you don't understand working with any MSP, if they're using terms you don't understand, ask them what it means. They should be more than willing to help you and help and explain it to you. And then there are the transparency issues, concerns that small businesses have, which is the lack of clear reporting on system status, security threats, service activities, and so on. That's what we cover in our account reviews. You also have the ticketing system and the portal to see exactly where things are in their stages. But those account reviews that that we prefer to do every month, those account reviews will give you all sorts of great information as to what's been happening in your network, what's been happening in your business from a technical standpoint, things to maybe look out for in the future, and to maybe give us a little conversation to suggest and lead you into some new technical or some new technologies that are on the forefront. And then there's the cultural fit. Small business owners often doubt whether an MSP will align with their company cultural values. This concern goes beyond technical capabilities to question of work style, communication preferences, and business philosophy. And that's a very valid concern because um, you not all MSPs will work well with your particular company. And again, that's where those conversations and those lists in the beginning, those are all important steps in choosing an MSP. I mentioned to you about the MSP who said that they felt comfortable with their current provider because they were 10 minutes away. And that's fantastic. If that's the thing that's important to you, that's that's great. Now, I like I said, I do want to make sure that you're looking at it in the most reasonable way as well because technology, yes, you want your MSP to be able to do things on time and so on, and that's fantastic. And I know here at L7 we typically beat the times, and in as far as our SLAs go, and it far outdo those times. But um, it's also about the level of security. It's also about the quality of service that you're getting, because realistically, yes, you're hiring someone that you want to partner with, but you're also hiring someone whose job is to protect your data. And they can get to your office in a quick amount of time, but are they truly protecting your data? As I mentioned before, if they have to spend that much time in your office, maybe you might want to look at how things are doing, because that does take away from efficiency. And it's important that your MSP is like if you think of a band and you're the lead singer in that band, we're an accompanying piece. We may be the star guitar player in the band, and occasionally we take the solo and it rocks the show. But you're the lead, and we're just kind of there to accompany you and make things run smoothly and sound good. So then there's the idea of whether or not there's going to be this dependency on technology. And I can understand how that scares some businesses. And but there is a point that we have to use the technology that is available to us, whether it's AI, whether it's the new software, whether it's faster machines. That's the world that we live in. It truly is the world we live in, and a lot of these worries stem from um, operational vulnerabilities, if systems fail, or if the MSP relationship ends unexpectedly. Um, all of that, they're valid concerns. If a system fails, that's the reason that they're backups. So you have to discuss those things with your MSP. How are things built out? How are these are all things that also can help you improve your or get better deals on your insurance, on your cybersecurity insurance as well. So these are all things that you need to know. Um, and if your relationship ends with your MSP, how, are they an MSP that is good in the sense that they've kept the proper records, they've kept all of the data, and simply can hand that over to you? I've experienced situations where that hasn't happened. All they had was a password, basically, and information wasn't kept. So that's why the communication, the account reviews, all of that needs to take place with your MSP. Then there are the limited resources for transition. The thought of transitioning to MSP can be overwhelming, especially for small teams with limited resources. Um, Businesses often worry about the time, effort, potential disruption involved in changing their IT management approach. And again, another valid concern, but that's the reason that you choose to work with an MSP, and that will draw out that plan for you. So again, what we've covered before, it's that initial assessment, and then there's the implementation phase, and then there's a training period, which it doesn't take much to train, guys. Like I said, it's you're not going into something that's completely different in most cases. So that training does not take as long. It's somewhat misleading because your training period, your training period literally in a lot of cases could be an hour. And then there's the optimization stage. And the optimization stage is something that takes place constantly, because if your MSP is doing their job, they're monitoring your systems, they're monitoring your servers, and they're saying, hey, this isn't running as well as we think it should be running. We're going to make this little tweak. And the thing is, goes back to that communication. We're going to let you know that we made that little tweak. So again, important things to make sure. I know we're going a little bit longer than originally planned, but these are important things, and these are questions that have been asked. So hopefully, we're getting all your questions answered today on you know things that are questions when it comes to choosing an MSP and making the right decision. So then there's the vendor lock-in. Concerns about being locked into long-term contracts or specific technology vendors can make businesses hesitant to commit to an MSP as well. So at L7 Solutions, we typically do a 1-year contract. And I'm going to tell you our belief behind that. Because if we can't do what we do and do it well, we don't want to tie you in to more than that if you don't feel comfortable. Because a lot of companies will try and tie you into a 3-year, 5-year contract because they figure, hey, at least we're going to get them for 3 years, whether we do great or not. Um, that's not what we work. We typically will start you off with that 1-year contract, and then our clients tend to want to hop onto a 2, 3, or even more year contract with us because they know what we do and they know how we do it. And that's important. And we pride ourselves on that. So when you're looking at an MSP, you have to look at, are they trying to trap you? And I hate to use that word, but sometimes that's what it seems like. It seems like a trap. But that's not what we do. We want to make sure that you're happy with us. And if we're not doing something right, we want you to let us know because we want to make sure that we are serving you as best as we can. Um, that's what it's all about. It's about building that relationship and that partnership at L7. And again, like I said, we're not the only game that does it that way. There are many other MSPs around this nation that do that. And it takes you a little bit of time to really parse through it. But when you are looking for an MSP, really parse through it seriously. Don't just make it about the price because that's the worst thing you can do is just strictly making it about the price because you have no idea what you're getting or what you're not getting when you're basing it on that price. I've seen companies that charge top dollar and they're giving you barely anything. It all looks great. They market it with you know, one phrase or word, and it sounds really fantastic, but you're really not getting anything. And so it's important that you really, really parse through and have a conversation with prospective MSPs as to truly what you're getting. I can tell you right now, with L7 Solutions, when it comes to our security level, you're getting a 4-layer security um, perimeter, or excuse me, not a perimeter, but you're getting a 4-layer security stack in the sense that it starts with the perimeter and it works its way in uh, with different layers of security and other tools in between those that do other things. So it's important that you know that when you're working with an MSP. So then there are unclear service levels and immediate needs focus. So as far as the service levels go, we print them out as part of our um, package initially. When we present you with a proposal, our service levels are in there. So you know right off the bat what is there or what we are contracted to respond in when it comes to critical, low level, mid level, high level concerns. You know exactly what it is we're supposed to respond within. And as I mentioned before, the majority of the time, 90 5% of the time, we are responding within minutes on on those items. Even the ones that are low priority, we are responding within minutes. So it's important that you look at the little things like that because all these little things add up. So small businesses often prioritize immediate operational needs over long-term strategic planning, causing them to overlook the benefits of MSPs. That's kind of what I was talking about there. The short-term perspective makes it difficult to appreciate preventative maintenance and proactive management. And that's what you really have to look at. This is the long game when it comes to working with an MSP. Again, there are a lot of tangible things that you're going to see up front initially, but you have to think about the long game. Like, where can these guys help me get to? Because if you're looking at an MSP and you can't envision them helping you get any further along than you are currently, you don't need to work with that MSP. You really don't. But if you're looking at an MSP and you're like, oh man, I just got the greatest tool in my toolkit now, being, whether it's L7 Solutions or, whomever it may be. If you're looking at it like that, like, wow, yeah, now it's like, whew, I feel I've got this weight off my shoulders now from the IT standpoint. You've chosen the right, you've chosen the right MSP. And with that, that brings us to the end today, guys. So, um, again, really think it through on on um, on choosing an MSP, and don't hesitate. Uh, don't ask yourself those questions, but make a decision to get with an MSP versus getting with, the IT guy around the corner because it's different. Having the IT guy or the IT company is different than having a managed service provider. Okay, it's extremely different. And so you want to make sure that you are understanding the benefits that you're going to get from having a true managed service provider. And when it's someone like L7 Solutions, someone who focuses on that cybersecurity aspect of things, that, like I said, that is our foundation. But all of the managed cloud services, uh, the Microsoft VoIP solutions, um, AI solutions. We do all of that as well, and we help you. We train you. We get you where you need to be in those areas. So don't hesitate to contact us. You can visit our website at www.l7solutions.com. You can give us a call on our main number at 954-573-1300. My name is Ken Tucker. I'm the sales manager here at L7 Solutions. You can reach me directly at ktucker at l7solutions.com or on my direct line at 954-526-4460. But that's going to do it for us today. I know I said it was going to be short and it actually was longer, but it was really important. And I hope you gathered some really good information from this. And if you ever want to talk about how L7 Solutions can help you, don't hesitate to give us a call, guys. We really appreciate you taking the time to sit with us and listen to us today. Um, and we will see you next time. Have a great one. Bye now.